Welcome to Animal Posse, the podcast dedicated to the people and rescues making a difference in the lives of animals.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back. Today, I am going to be chatting with Sonia, an independent rescuer that is doing amazing work with TNR, Trap-Neuter-Return, and helping community cats live healthier lives. It's going to be a really great conversation, so let's jump right in. Hey, Sonia. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Today, we are going to talk about your role as an independent rescuer. To get started, tell us your backstory. How did you get involved with being an independent rescuer?
I guess it goes back to how did I get into rescue, period. And that would go back to my cat, Moco. And he's the whole reason why I ended up back in the rescue, because we crossed paths back in New Orleans. And that was the first time I had ever worked with a actual rescue. But before I was in Iberia, where I am now, and I found Moco on the side of the road. Somebody dumped him, typical. And I took him in, and he was with me for 14 years. He slipped out on my mom. That was August 8th of 2023, late night, and I've never found him. But he was the whole reason why I ended up getting back into it, because whenever I moved back into New Iberia, I did not want to go back into rescue. But c'est la vie, here I am.
Why you didn't want to go back into rescue?
I don't want to sound like an angry person, but the community here, they don't want to be part of the solution very often. So that kind of deters people from wanting to be involved in this, which I completely understand whenever you're passionate about it. So it's a headache, but once you're in it, it's very difficult to leave. You love cats, so you can't really turn your back on them once you see how badly the problem has progressed. Especially since I had left, it really got bad. And I didn't notice until I started searching for my cat and going to places where it was reported that there was a large group of cats, uncontrolled colonies. And what did I do? I dropped the truck down and started TNR, and it kept going. And I'm glad I didn't stop now, but it can be hard sometimes.
Yeah, definitely it can. Now, in New Iberia, would you consider that a more rural area?
I would definitely. I'm more of a city girl. I would definitely say this is more rural. I'm from Morgan City, which is not a big town, but we're right there. In Morgan City, you're right there between Lafayette, Baton Rouge, and New Orleans. So you go to cities pretty often, but you don't spend a lot of time in the country whenever you're surrounded by bayous. But here, it's definitely a lot of sugarcane fields in a rural area, a lot of low-income people. So they have a lot of difficulties taking care of cats, so they call a lot more often than in more metropolitan areas, if that makes sense.
Sure. I was asking because it seems to be a problem with a lot of the rural areas where they're just kind of underserved. They just don't have the access to spay and neuter.
Yes, ma'am. I think that really does boil down to elected officials not really want to invest much in working with rescue groups and TNR groups. They don't want to make the investment in it. They don't want to help any type of investment or even allowance for low-income spay and neuter clinics. I think we recently got one here. It's called a Acadiana Spay and Neuter, which is closer to New Iberia than what I'm sure a lot of people have heard of, Spay Nation in Lafayette, which is oftentimes where I go. But I'm not sure when exactly we got the Acadiana, and I haven't gone yet. But it's just difficult to get anybody to really care. And I don't know how to make anyone care. We have a lot more rescues here since the time that I moved away, which was 2013. I came back in 2020. But we have a larger overpopulation problem. So I kind of feel like the community treats these rescues as if they're just another shelter, and they call you wanting you to fix problems. They don't want to be part of the solution, like I said before. They just want you to come in and take the cats away, and none of us can really do that. So it's a brick wall every way you look.
Do you think it's more that they just don't care, or does it have to do with the fact that they're low income and they don't have the access to spay neuter like they should?
Both. You'll find both type of people here. Some people just aren't animal people. Some people have a true despise for cats in particular. But then every once in a while, right now I'm working on a colony in Iberia, and I was contacted by a lady that lives in this trailer park, and she really cares about them. And she's investing her own personal money in getting them fixed and vaccinated and taken care of. And she's continuing to feed. So I'm bringing her food, but then you have the real hateful people that live right next to him. There's a police officer that lives in the same trailer park, has a drop trap, refused for me to borrow it, and told me he was going to start trapping them and drowning them. You know, it's like, okay, sorry I even spoke to you to begin with. But like I said, you find them on both sides of the spectrum here.
You go out to go look for Moco, and what did you start seeing that you said, okay, I've got to do something, I've got to get involved?
I made social media posts just asking if anybody had seen him. He was 14 years old, so I gave a lot of detail, not just marking as most people do, but he was microchipped, he's neutered, and also the fact that he was getting older and a broken tooth and just stuff like that. And I got a lot of calls back of people saying that there was a large group of cats in locations when they thought they saw a cat that looked kind of like Moco compared to the pictures, blah, blah, blah. Went to go check it out, and it was a group of homes in a rural area, and you could just look around and find a lot of injured ones, which means fighting, and young ones, so there's no females there that are spayed. Just like a lot of cats in a grouped up area, and as you know, they find their easiest source of food and mating, and they stick around. As long as the food's there, they're going to stick around. So they just gather up, and I found 5 different locations just in the city limits of New Iberia within the first 3 months, I believe. So at 2 or 3 months. And I started working on all of them.
Are you doing this out of your own pocket?
Yes, ma'am. Every once in a while, I'll get on Nextdoor. I get more feedback on Nextdoor and ask for donations if I'm just kind of running low every once in a while. But I hate to ask for donations without actually being a rescue. As an individual, I don't know. Like, I feel kind of guilty for doing that. Maybe I shouldn't. But I do get more feedback on Nextdoor than, say, Facebook or Instagram or something like that. Maybe it's because it's more of a personal, local type app. But most of the time, 95%, I'd say it's definitely out of my pocket.
Have you reached out to any rescues in the area that may offer you assistance?
I have reached out to some smaller ones, newly open. And they've been very helpful, especially this kitten season. I actually have a litter of 3 in my care right now. But before those got handed to me, I had 2 other groups of 2. So just reaching out to them, I'm not going to say the name because I don't have permission. One rescue reached out 3 different times and had a foster to take them in. So I was very grateful for that. The rescues are very much involved as much as they possibly can be. I couldn't ask for anything more from any of them.
And the current kittens that you have, do they put them up for adoption through their adoption venues?
I haven't connected these 3 with any rescues. The other ones I handed off, and they have a foster, and they're taking great care of them. These, I didn't have anybody to be able to step up for these, so, I'm just going to do my part and raise them and get them spayed and neutered and put them up for adoption. I usually charge about $45 rehoming fee, adoption fee. And I do like to do a home check just to make sure. And as $45 does not even come close to covering the expense of getting them ready. But I do adopt them out myself. But I do like to work with rescues because it's just more networking. But you can reach a lot more people that way. I may reach out to a rescue and see if I could get them to help me out with networking needs. I'm not there yet with these, and I have a lot on my plate, so I just haven't thought that far.
I completely understand that. Have you ever thought about trying to get a 501c3?
Yes, ma'am. I actually have been looking into it because of the community using rescues around here as it's just another shelter that they can go and bring a cat to. I don't know if I want to go sanctuary direction. I would like to do TNR. That desperately needs to be done. And we used to have a TNR group called SNP. I believe the founder, she retired and then had to go back to work. So it's just been a lot of load on her. I don't know if it's still open, but I know it's not very active. So I think it would be a good thing for me to kind of kick in and see if I can open something like that here. It's desperately needed.
Yeah, definitely. When you say people are abusing the rescues and using the rescues as a shelter, what do you mean? Do you mean if they find a pet, they bring it there, or do you think it's just abandoning their responsibilities?
A lot of times it's abandoning their responsibilities. Even local Facebook groups and stuff, if you go in there, they're always looking for a free kitten. And I try to explain that there is no free. If you're going to be a responsible owner and you're going to bring them and get them vetted and vaccinated and so on and so forth, you're going to invest a lot of money. It's going to be hundreds of dollars whenever you can go to the local shelter or get in touch with some of these rescue groups and adopt from them. It may be $150, but everything's done for you. You don't have to even bring them to the vet, and it's a lot cheaper, but they don't really want to hear it. They take on these free animals, and they either start spraying in the house or they get pregnant because they let them out, and then once that happens, they don't want anything to do with it anymore. They see it as a problem. So they want somebody to come and take their problem away. And that's oftentimes what rescues are called for. And I don't know how much more people can do to educate. I think the information is pretty far out there, but I am in rescue. Maybe it's just a skewed perspective. I don't know. But I really don't have the answers. I'm beating the ground just trying to fix the problem, and there doesn't seem to be an answer right now.
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean about the whole thing with the people posting in the groups, though, because I've been seeing it a lot. And it seems that they'll try to rehome a cat that isn't spayed or neutered yet. And then it seems that they do it in the middle of kitten season, which even makes it worse. They decide now, or then you'll get the excuse, the cat's pregnant, so I've got to find a place for the cat to go. And it's, why didn't you spay or neuter? And I think, like what you said, when people take a free kitten, they might have all intentions of going to get it done, but something happens, it might just get delayed. And then once that kitten reaches maturity at pretty much 4 months old, they're going to try a way to get out the house to either go find a boyfriend or a girlfriend. And if you have a female cat, she's going to come back pregnant. And that's something that I always say, too, because I know it happened to was a relative of mine a couple of years ago. And he ended up having some kittens, a whole litter of kittens. So he asked me to help him with the kittens. And I'm like, why didn't you spay the mom? And the excuse was that he didn't have the money to spay the mom. And we have very low cost programs here. So there's really no excuse for it. And I'm like, you didn't have money to spay the mom, but now you're feeding 6 kittens and the mom until those kittens are big enough to rehome. And so I'm like, that right there, that makes no sense.
Especially if they know somebody in rescue, they can contact us. I have a couple of family members that recently did that, and I just about lost it on them, and I didn't mean to, but it's just, you know that I'm here. You know, you could easily give me a call and I could make it happen. And I understand with my family and kids and work and economy is getting worse and everybody has other concerns. You tend to procrastinate about things. I get it. But just stop looking for free kittens. To me, that's the answer. Stop looking for free kittens.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people understand that they can get pregnant at 4 months old. I don't know. But it doesn't matter how many times I tell people, it doesn't seem to really stick in the memory or something.
Yeah. And another thing that I've been seeing a lot lately that gets to me too is either a 501c3 rescue or an independent rescuer will often make an offer to people. Look, I have room. Let me take your kittens. I'll be able to get the kitten spayed or neutered, and then I'll go find a home for the kitten. And most of the time, they're told, oh, we have somebody else that's interested in them before you. And it's really?
Yeah, I usually don't get that answer. They are handing it over. But I don't make that offer too often either, at least lately, because I have fosters that are in my care right now. 2 of them have been waiting 2 years, and nobody has even put in an adoption attempt. So I know my limitations. I can't take on that many cats. I'm only one person. But also, I don't want to give them an idea that they can just keep getting cats and coming to me and I'm just going to take them. It's a catch-22.
Yeah, it really is. And I think that's the thing, too, is how do you reach people? Because I've had this discussion before. Like, I can preach spay and neuter all I want on my social media, and I'm only reaching people who are exactly like me. So it's like, how do you reach these other people?
Unless they're coming on to pages that we're often on, I don't believe it does reach a lot of people. If you go on adoption pages and we do give that message out, I don't think it's well received either. They look at it as just an animal. It's just an animal. Like we were talking about, they find themselves in a situation and you asked me about them calling rescues a lot. If they can't find another home or a rescue group or somebody to take them in, a lot of times they go and dump them on the side of the road too, which leads to these uncontrolled colonies. So it's just, I don't think that they really see these little creatures as living beings, like a human being. They just see them as something they can dispose of. And that's the problem I think we all have, even in metropolitan areas. We have individuals that they want pets, but it's more to serve them than it is for them just to have a companion. So it ends up a detrimental outcome for the pet, unfortunately. They're often dumped at shelters whenever they get too old or something, or they start having health conditions. We're talking about kittens, but we have a big problem with the older cats too. I'm sure you do too. It's like they just give up on their pets whenever they become a certain age and they're going to cost a couple extra dollars.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't seem to learn their lesson. They don't seem to learn the lesson of that, though. They get rid of the animal and then they want to adopt another. This shelter over here, one of the biggest complaints I have about them is if they get an elderly dog or cat in, they will let these people go adopt out a younger pet. What are you talking about? They just dumped the dog or cat. Why are you going to let them adopt another one?
Yeah, definitely. I have one. He's sitting on my lap right now. He's a beautiful long hair cat. He's sweet as could be now, but I got a lie before he came to me. And it was basically that he was dumped at his home where he was, and these people took him in. And they had him for 3 weeks and they couldn't keep him. So when you hear a story like that's wonderful. They took in this cat that was dumped outside. Their owners moved. They left the cat outside. These people took the cat in. So I end up with the cat because I'm like, okay, in the photos, he looks very sweet. And so they bring me the cat. And the poor cat had to end up going on a transport too because the cat was like 10 hours from here.
No goodness.
The poor guy has to go through all this. He gets here and he's exhibiting the classic behavior of a cat that has been dumped. And I'm like, there's no way they only had this cat for 3 weeks. There's absolutely no way this cat would be acting like this. So the person wanted me to give updates. So I have the number. So I call them and I'm like, hey, did you have this cat for only 3 weeks? Oh yeah, only 3 weeks. And I was like, okay, he's just not settling in. It's like typical dumped cat, adult cat behavior. He's exhibiting that depressed, angry behavior that they have when they get dumped and their owners
like they're
abandon
shut
them.
down.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
I'm just like, there's just no way. So I ended up looking up this person and I found a post on social media from 2 months ago. And I learned all about the cat because it was their cat and they just didn't have time anymore.
You got a whole background story.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm like, did you not think I would find this? Like, why lie? Why not just be truthful about it?
They don't think that we're going to look. I don't think anybody understands that we know how to read their body language either. You spend a lot of time with these little animals. They all have different personalities, and you can't even say that they're going to react to a situation all the same because they do have those individual personalities. But they can all basically be set off by triggers, and they all show the same type of personalities. They can shut down in different ways, but they're all shutting down if they're dumped and stuff like that. I don't think people understand that we can figure that out. We know what this is. And I'd have to say, the people who contact me, most of them, at least 99.9%, tell me some kind of lie to ask how they came up about the cat, how the cat came into their care. I hate to say it like that. I don't want to eat that person, but I can't really believe what I'm told most of the time. And it's sad, but I don't know why people lie about it. It doesn't do the cat any good. It doesn't do anyone any good because it leads me into a situation like you found yourself in a situation of trying to figure out the backstory so you can help the cat.
In this particular cat, it was a dog rescue that they contacted a dog rescue. So they tell the dog rescue this whole story. So that rescue ended up making all the arrangements to transport this cat here, and they were going to just worry about finding a place for him once he got here. And I had an adopter for him, but when I was just hoping, okay, he's going to come in and I'll be able to adopt him out right away. And we've been working with him for a couple of weeks. He's a sweetheart now, so it's almost time for him to go to his new home.
And they all have different lengths of time that they need to decompress. You find yourself in a situation, you can't even determine how long it will take until they're ready to go to their new home because you have to let them decompress on their own time. You can't force it. So, yeah, it really puts us in a bad place as far as what we had planned in the future, because it's just an unforeseen situation. And you have to go by what the cat needs. You can't force anything, and you know that. Nobody really understands that. They expect us to have this little ball of fur that we can pass along, and it's just not that simple, especially with adult cats.
With this one, the excuse was they don't have time.
Yeah, I hear that one often.
And it's like for a cat doesn't need a lot of time. It's not like a dog. A dog does need a lot of time because you got to go walk your dog every day. But with a cat's fine if they see you a couple of hours during the day.
And some of them are clingy, but most of them, they're just happy to be in your presence. To watch some TV and they're there. They're just happy-go-lucky individuals just to be with you. But I'm not quite sure what I don't have the time thing is. The way I see it, though, is if you take in a pet that's supposed to be a family member. I know not everybody's going to be like me, but I could wish. I try to wish.
Hopefully one day it'll get better.
Hopefully. But until we have more elected officials that try to put the word out and try to help us, to help the community, I don't see it getting any better, unfortunately. And I hate to be that negative Nelly. It's just, you see it for so long. It's been 17 years in total that I was somewhat involved. 14 years that I was really involved, and then the 4 years I took off. But 17 years, a long time to see some pretty horrific situations you find some of these cats in. So it's hard to stay positive. It really is.
It definitely is. How much time do you devote to doing TNR and taking care of community cats?
Oh, I do it daily. This one colony I'm working on, it's been 3 weeks, and that's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night. That way I can get them to Spay Nation by morning, and I go pick them up the next morning. So 30 plus hours, I'd have to say.
And now New Iberia is a bit of a drive to Lafayette. So how much time do you spend driving?
Yes, ma'am. It takes about 40 minutes for me to get from my home to Spay Nation, the actual location. 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back each day. So, yeah, it's a decent amount of time, but you get so used to driving whenever you're in rural areas. 40 minutes doesn't seem like a lot anymore.
Before we end the call, what final message would you have for people who see a problem but are hesitant to get involved?
sometimes it's hard to find people like me. It's not like we're advertising. So unless you know somebody that's heard of me or someone like me, you don't know to reach out, but reach out to rescues. And some of them are in touch with people like independent rescuers that can get you in contact with us, that we can help you out. But just try to talk to somebody. Just don't leave them there to suffer. The more you leave them out there unneutered and unspayed and unvaccinated, the more lives are going to be out there suffering. Just try to reach out to somebody.
Yeah, I think that's a good message too. And that's something that I always say too, even with people that are trying to rehome their pets. I understand there are situations when people have no choice but to rehome their pets, but there's
Correct.
other situations where people have to rehome their pets because maybe they can't afford food that month. Maybe they can't afford litter. Maybe their pet is sick and needs to go to the vet. And any rescue, I think, would rather work with you on that than trying to rehome your pet, because that's a lot easier to do.
Even independent rescuers, we'd much rather help you fundraise and get you some food or fundraise for a vet visit. We want them to stay with their families. We don't want to rehome them. It's stressful on the pet and it's stressful on everybody involved. So if there's any way, shape, or form that we can keep you with your pet, that's the direction we want to go. Definitely.
Thank you so much for coming on the show with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, I loved hearing about the great work that you're doing, and please keep it up because the cats definitely need you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for what you do. I'll be in touch, though. I would like to question you a little bit on how you got your rescue started. I would like to start something here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to help. And actually, on the show, we've had a couple of people that have also made that offer. So if you go listen to some of our other episodes, there's a bunch of people that would be willing to share information with you. But if you have any questions, please reach out to me because it's something that is definitely needed. Any questions that you have, shoot them over and I'll answer them the best I can.
That's it for today's episode of Animal Posse. If you love what we're doing, please consider becoming a member. Your support directly helps us continue highlighting the people and stories that save lives across the country. Just a quick reminder, the views and opinions expressed by our guests are theirs alone and are provided for entertainment purposes. They don't necessarily reflect the official position of the show, and this information should never replace the advice of your own veterinarian. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Tails take flight. They're calling in stories to spin from the wild to the heart within. Broken wings and hopeful springs, we're the voices for these things. Animal Posse, hear the call. We stand together. Big and small, rescue tales, we've got it all. Animal Posse, saving them all. The vet's got tips, the rescuer's grit, the foster homes where love won't quit. Big never fail. This is the bond, the holy grail.